Hey guys, what's up? It's Fern. Thank you so much for joining me for another planty video. Today I thought that it'd be kind of fun to share with you the plants in my collection that are kind of struggling and have been struggling for a while. I just haven't cracked the code on most of these. So I have quite a few actually. I think I have about 12 plants to share with you today. Some of them I know or suspect why they're not doing well, but some of them I just have no idea. So if you have any tips or advice for me on any of these plants, make sure you leave a comment down below. Maybe we can troubleshoot some of them together. But yeah, it's just gonna be a fun little video of all of my plants that don't look great. So we are starting off with a philodendron. And I have two philodendron on this list, but I will say that most of my philodendron do quite well. It's my favorite genus, and I find most of them quite hardy and pretty easy to grow, despite some of the velvet. Actually, speaking of velvet philodendron that are difficult, one that would be on this list if I still had it is Philodendron melanochrysum. I actually got rid of mine. I had like gotten rid of the cuttings I had kicking around, like given away, or with like, I think when I was selling plants in the fall, I ended up giving some of my Milano cuttings away, and then I just kept two small ones for myself. Tried for a few months after that to try to grow them and just got so frustrated I ended up chucking those in the compost. I don't know. Melanochrysum I find so hard to start from a small plant. It seems really hard to get it to size up. So I think if I get one in the future, which I may, because I do love Philodendron melanochrysum. I think it's so beautiful. It was one of my favorites for a long time, and it still is when I see other people with big ones, but for me, I just had so much difficulty growing it from a small little plant that, yeah, I'll just try again later when I am able to get a larger, more established plant. So I guess that's an honorable mention. But anyways, the philodendron, the first plant that is on this list, is my Philodendron serpens, as you can see here. And you know, some of the leaves don't look too bad. This is the newest one and it's quite pretty. I'm super happy with this leaf. But in general, I find this to be quite a difficult philodendron. It seems to be prone to spider mites. I've had spider mites on it a couple of times. I'm looking at it right now. I mean, it could have spider mites right now. I can't remember the last time I treated it, but you can see on the leaves there's a lot of spider mite damage. And it's funny because this is right next to my Philodendron verrucosum, and a lot of people fault the verrucosum for being a spider mite magnet, but I haven't really had any issues with that one. It's this one that I had more issues with spider mites. There's also a lot of EFN, extrafloral nectaries, that happen on this plant, so you get a lot of like little dots and like stickiness on the back that ends up showing through onto the front of the leaf. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but there's a lot of like small yellow dots on the leaves, and they just kind of look imperfect, which is fine. That's how nature is, but yeah, you can see that on a lot of the leaves. So I've had a really hard time just getting this plant to produce leaves that aren't like damaged or flawed in some way. And I was so excited when I saw a new leaf coming in because I was like, okay, maybe this will be the one that just like looks amazing. And it came in so weird. I wish I would have taken a photo. It was like stuck. The cataphyll was like completely stuck on here. It was honestly the most bizarre thing. You can still see some of it, like there's little chunks of cataphyll still on it, but it was completely like crumpled in the cataphyll, and so was this part. I ended up going in with a wet paper towel and putting that around, and that loosened some of it off, and then I was able to kind of like remove it with tweezers, but it was on there so tight, just like, it almost looks like scabs or something gross now, but the cataphyll was on there so tight, just like stuck to it, that this could not, there was no way that this would unfurl. Like there was just no way. So now, you know, I've managed to remove most of it all, but it's just not gonna come out perfectly after going through that and still having some of that stuck on there. So that's kind of disappointing, but yeah, I don't know. I just find this to be a more finicky philodendron. I'm trying to figure out the conditions that are best for this plant. I had it in my Millsbow for many months and it didn't do anything in there, and after I took it out it started growing leaves, so at least it's growing now. I'm very happy about that. Maybe this spring things will turn around. And another thing that's kind of odd that I noticed with this philodendron is that it won't root into the moss pole. And normally I find it really easy to get philodendron to attach to a pole, but this one just doesn't want to. maybe it did in like one of these nodes. I think maybe this one is like the only one that actually rooted in there, but the rest of them just don't want to root in, and I just find that odd. And I've been really good about keeping the poles moist and everything. Like it's moist right now. I'm just not really sure what else I can be doing for this plant. But yeah, this is the first one that I just have a more difficult time with. Philodendron serpens, my friends. But I'm gonna keep trying because I love this plant. Okay, next is my Variegated Monstera adansonii. Isn't this a sad sight? It does not look good at all. It used to have leaves going up this whole thing, and they've just all died off. I was just like peeling dead leaf off after dead leaf. I feel like I'm the only person that has a hard time with this plant. I see a lot of people growing these now, and they all look absolutely beautiful, and I'm so jealous because, did I call this Philodendron adansonii? Monstera adansonii. I'm so jealous because I love why am I saying it again? I'm so jealous because I love Monstera adansonii so much, just the regular green one. So it would be so exciting to grow the variegated one and have it, you know, like get big and strong and lush and look nice. Mine does have a lot of white on it, so I don't know if that's contributing to, I mean, I'm sure that that doesn't help, but even the leaves that have green on them, like, and the new leaf, this has been, oh, it is actually kind of emerging. That's been trying to come out forever, and I just thought it wasn't going to fully emerge. Maybe you can see it better this side, yeah. It looks like it might actually emerge now. But yeah, I have just had such a tough time with this. The leaves are constantly dying off. It's just never been thriving or really looking amazing. Later today, I'm actually going to be completely chopping this up and restarting like a bunch of node cuttings. So you're gonna see that in an upcoming video. But yeah, it just needs to be restarted because it's not going anywhere good at this point. Next, we have my Scindapsus Silver Hero. Now, I love this plant so much, and I'm just so disappointed that mine looks such shite because, yeah, like silver plants are my jam, and this one is so incredibly beautiful when it's, you know, in like a healthy state. This one's currently in pawn. I have no idea why it just keeps turning into crispiness, like it starts at the edge and then it just moves upwards. As you can see, this one is in pawn. I've tried soil, it just wouldn't grow. The same thing happened, like the crispiness did not do well in soil, so I decided to try it in pawn, and it's obviously not doing well in pawn. I've given this many months, like this might have even been a year that it's been in this pawn, like, or coming up to a year at least. I just can't seem to crack the code on this, and I was kind of having this experience with all Scindapsus for a while, especially with my Scindapsus exotica. It would not grow for me. It was just not looking great, but that one is finally growing for me. I wanted to show you a quick little update on that one. So here is my exotica, and she's looking absolutely stunning. I'm just so happy that this plant is doing better, and I don't know why she just suddenly started doing well and started growing for me, but yeah, I'm so glad she did. That's the newest leaf there, and then she's got another one coming in, and we have another one coming in here, and another one coming in here. So this Scindapsus exotica is obviously really happy. We've turned a corner somehow, and yeah, I'm feeling good about this. So now I'm having good luck with the exotica. I've always had good luck with the Pictus argyrius. It just seems to be mostly the Scindapsus Silver Hero that I'm really struggling with. So if anyone else has this particular variety, let me know any tips, let me know what I should do. Probably gonna have to end up cutting this up and starting it over again because it's just obviously not happy, and I've waited, I think, an adequate amount of time to see if it would start turning around, and it hasn't. So yeah, I'm really hoping I can eventually, you know, have a healthy plant of this because I do love it so much. Next, we have the star of the channel, or should I say the drama queen of the channel, my beautiful Monstera constellation. This is a plant that I have struggled with basically since I got it like 3 or 4 years ago. We have been on quite the journey. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar. I actually have a whole playlist dedicated to the ups and downs of this plant, so you can go back and like follow along if you are interested. I'll link that down below maybe. But yeah, I've just had a really hard time with this plant. It has rotted on me like 5 or 6 times, and I've had to reroot it and then repot it. I've actually got 2 plants growing in here now because I ended up splitting it into 2 cuttings at one of the points when I propagated it. I will say that it seems to be doing something now. For a long time, it did not. I think it's been like 10 months or something since it gave me a new leaf. Or maybe that was since I repotted it. It might be like over a year since I've gotten a new leaf. No, I think it's been about 10 months. I think I got a new leaf like last spring. This was the last leaf that I got, which is absolutely gorgeous. So it's been a constant struggle with this plant. However, I now have 2 leaves coming in on it. So I wanted to highlight this plant obviously because it's been really difficult for me, but I also wanted to give you guys a little update on what's going on if you don't follow me on Instagram stories. So we have this leaf right here, which is coming in on the smaller plant in here. Yeah, it's like fully emerged but not unfurled yet, so I cannot wait to see that. And then I'm sure that you can see the second one is emerging right there. Can't wait to see what that one's gonna look like because it's coming off of the larger plant in this pot. So yeah, we have 2 new leaves coming in at once. Didn't do anything for so long, and now we've got 2 new leaves, double whammy. So yeah, I'm really excited about that, but this plant definitely just is a little bit more tricky for me. I was talking about this on my Instagram stories recently. Definitely suggest opting for a clear pot if you have a Monstera constellation, just so you can keep a close eye on the roots, because they do seem to be prone to rot, and that hasn't just been my experience. I've heard that from a lot of people, so you just have to be a little bit more cautious. Okay, the next plant is another one of my favorites. It seems that a lot of these plants that are really difficult are my favorites, and that's why I'm like hanging on to them and really trying to get it to work because I really want to see them grow. The next one is my Calathea Warshawixii, which actually looks pretty good right now compared to how it's looked in the past. I mean, this leaf isn't great, but we have 5 healthy leaves right now, and it seems to be doing relatively well. This is one that is part of my 10 plants I want to work on in 2023, like part of my plant goals. I specifically want to put effort into getting this to grow into a larger plant. This is the only Calathea in my collection, and it is a plant that I really want to see size up. I want this to be like a nice centerpiece in my living room one day. I just want to see those large velvety leaves. Oh my goodness, yeah, I love this Calathea so much. It's absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, it's just been difficult for me. I have completely rotted it before. I've grown it back from I think nothing. I think it had 0 leaves and it ended up growing back. But yeah, if you miss a watering on this, it is not forgiving. It will completely crisp up. That's probably what's going on with this one. I missed a watering in the past and now it's throwing a fit. So yeah, likes to stay on the moist side, have to keep up with watering. If I can do that this year, then I think I will finally be able to see this plant do a little bit better, but it is definitely just a little bit more difficult care because it is more demanding. So yeah, that's why she's on the list, but I think she's gonna have a good year. I have a feeling. So yeah, Calathea Warshawixii. Okay, next is a 2-for-1, and they are my Variegated Hoya compacta. Hoya compacta, just the green one that I have, is absolutely stunning, and it's one of my all-time favorite Hoya. So I thought, you know, I love that one so much, I need to get the variegated versions. This one I got actually at the same time as when I got the Monstera constellation, like in 2019. So coming up to 4 years ago now, and yeah, as you can see, it's quite small. It's literally not much bigger than it was when I purchased it. So it's just the outer variegated version. This is like the more commonly available of the variegated compactas. So gorgeous. I think I actually prefer the way that this one looks. So if I could get this one to grow, I would be so happy. But yeah, it just has not done much for me. And then the second one, which I thought was going to be easier, but it seems that I'm just having the same experience, is the Hoya compacta Mauna Loa. So this is the inner variegated version, if you can see that. These are both absolutely, oh, and I got this one like coming up to 2 years ago now. This spring, summer, it will be 2 years. And this one was a little bit bigger when I purchased it than the other one, but it still hasn't grown a ton. Anyways, yeah, I've just never really been able to crack why these don't grow for me. I've been treating for mites just in case they have flat mites, but I did check them under the microscope and I couldn't really find any. I thought for sure I would find some on these guys because I did find some on my other plants, but yeah, I couldn't really find any. I'm still treating them anyways, just in case I missed them. You never know. So I noticed that I did get a new leaf here, which is interesting. And I think this might be a new leaf right over here. I think there's a couple different branches on this plant. But yeah, I'm kind of, oh my goodness, there is a new leaf coming in, you guys. There is, do you see that? It looks like it might be all white, but there is a new leaf coming in. That's another thing that happened with this. It started putting out an entire white vine, and I ended up cutting that off because people were telling me to. This was like years ago. This was probably in like, I don't know, 2020. Yeah, I think it was in 2020. People were telling me to cut it off. They were like, it's not going to photosynthesize, da da da. And I was a new plant parent, so I just cut it off. But if that happens again, I'll probably just leave it on because Hoya can hold on to white leaves for quite a while, like much longer than my other plants that put out white leaves. So I'll probably keep it on if it does grow more white leaves. But yeah, I don't know. I've tried, like, I downsized the pot for this because people were like, oh, it's in too big of a pot, so I did that. I've added mycorrhizae to the potting mix. I've just like, yeah, I don't know. I'm treating for pests. I don't know what else to do. These both sit in a south-facing window that's kind of covered. They don't get like a ton of direct sun, but they do get some. So yeah, I don't know what they want from me, but I would be just so happy if they would grow because like I said, I just love Hoya compacta so much. Next, I'm sure this one will come as no surprise. It is my Alocasia Black Velvet. I typically have pretty good luck with Alocasia, but this one, for some reason, I just cannot figure out. I've heard of some other people having a tough time with this, so that kind of makes me feel a little bit better. But yeah, this one tends to stay in the one leaf club forever. It is potted in pon. Last time I showed it, I was getting comments of people saying like, oh, pot it into pon, but that's what it's in. It's in pon. So we have this one leaf, and I noticed it did shoot out a baby, which is actually exciting because I'm probably gonna dig this out of here and separate it and just try to grow it as its own little plant. Not sure what the damage on there is from, but I don't see any pests on this. But yeah, it's just this specific one, the like mother one, just won't grow for me. I've also had this for years, since 2020, and I have one leaf. So yeah, I will be starting over with the corms from this plant. I have another one that I separated that completely, the leaf, I like missed watering it and then it completely dried out and it lost the leaf. I don't know if the corm is still good in that. I haven't checked yet, but it's just a plant that I've always struggled with. So hopefully I can have a fresh start with some of her babies and we'll see where that puts me. Oh my god, you guys. Why didn't you tell me there was a big fat mealy on here? Oh, yeah, I do have a mealy bug problem on the shelf that this Alocasia lives on, so that doesn't surprise me, but that's good to know that that's on there. I will have to deal with that. I kind of like the way that they look. Anyways, that's not why this isn't doing well, because the mealies are a new problem, whereas this plant has not been doing well for like 3 years, so yeah. How did I not notice that? It's like so front and center. Okay, next is another philodendron, the second and last philodendron on this list, and it is my Philodendron mamei, or mamei, or whatever. I've heard this pronounced several different ways. This plant I got, I think, near the beginning of summer, and I actually liked it so much more than I thought I would. I was very impressed. I love silver plants, and I really wanted to add another crawler into my collection. So I was really excited to have it, and then promptly noticed that it had spider mites, and it's basically had spider mites ever since. Like, this is the biggest spider mite magnet in my collection, and I don't know if other people notice that or have that problem with their mameis, but honestly, this, like, I have to keep it treated at all times. I treated it not long ago, and it probably has spider mites on it right now. Like, it just seems to be a constant problem, but I'm really just trying to stay on top of it and, like, get rid of them because I love it so much. Like, it's so pretty and just kind of like different than anything else that I have in my collection when you consider that it's a crawler. I really don't have many crawlers, so I would love to, you know, get this one doing well. It has like the cool flat petioles that get ruffled. Like, it's just a really unique, gorgeous philodendron. So I would love to see this do well. It's just the freaking spider mites. So basically all of the leaves just like don't look good because they all have spider mite damage. I just find it so hard to keep under control, but I'm really trying. So cross your fingers for this plant to get better this year because yeah, it's just been such a struggle with the spider mites. I'm currently treating my whole cabinet for spider mites, and that plant lives in there, so I'm pretty sure that they probably all got spider mites from that plant, which is annoying. Okay, next we have a Euphorbia. This is my Euphorbia white ghost, and this has spider mites too, I think. Or no, that's just, oh no, it is spider mites maybe. Or just a spider. There's like webbing on it. Anyways, this is my Euphorbia white ghost. This is one of my like all-time favorite plants as well. I think it is so freaking cool. I love euphorbias that grow like this, and I especially love this one because it is white. Like, how cool. It is such a weird, spooky plant. When I first got this, I remember I had so many comments of people saying that it like looks like a spine or something, you know, like bones, and I was like, oh my god, it totally does, and it's just so creepy and weird. I love it so much, but it has not ever grown for me, and I've had this for a good year and a half at least, and I've never seen a hint of new growth, which is very sad. I do live in the Pacific Northwest, so I'm sure that is just due to lack of sun, lack of light. My weather is not conducive to this plant thriving, so I've recently popped this under my Soltech Solutions light, like right on the top of my plant shelf, so it should be getting like amazing light now. I'm really hoping that is going to promote some growth. I'm gonna keep it under there until we're getting consistently sunny days, like until we're pretty close to summer, and then I will put it in the windowsill or maybe try it outside. I wanted to put it outside last year, but people were scaring me, saying that they can burn, so I didn't. But yeah, I'm really like focused on trying to get this to grow now. Like, I really just want to figure it out and give it what it needs, which I'm sure is more light. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But I have a lot of faith in my Soltech Aspect light, so hopefully I do see some new growth. That would just be amazing. Okay, the last one is an interesting one. This was actually one of the first plants that I got in 2019 when I started getting into houseplants, and I've had a tough time with it ever since then. So it is my Hoya caryi albomarginata. I think that that's the name for this one. It's the Hoya caryi, like the heart-shaped Hoya leaves with the variegation on the outside of the leaf. Wow, this is dusty. She really needs to be cleaned. Oh my goodness. The reason that she's so dusty is because this plant lives basically attached to a like utility cart in my bedroom. I have like a small little utility cart that has like plant supplies and plants on top, and I have to tie this. It leans kind of against it, and then I tie this onto it. So that's why you guys don't really like see this, or I'm not holding this very often, because I usually just water it in its spot and I don't untie it and move it. Obviously I did for this video because I wanted to talk about it and show you, but and it's very floppy. Like, this trellis, it needs a better setup because it's just getting all over the place. But yeah, so I know a lot of people have struggled with this plant, and that's definitely been the case for me. One of the biggest, it's very slow growing, but one of the biggest problems for me has been the white variegation browning. It gets like blistered and weird looking if you give this too much light. Like, that's what happens. That happened even in an east facing window, which I feel like is not very harsh. So it's hard to find like that happy medium where it's going to be enough light but not too much that it's going to burn it, because that's just happened to me so much, and it's just like it's just not cute when you get all that burning on the leaves, you know what I mean? Like, what the heck? So yeah, I've just had a really difficult time kind of figuring that out. This actually has grown like quite a bit, and I do have, it looks like there might be a new leaf coming in, and there is like a couple peduncles on this, which is kind of cool. I don't know if you'll be able to see right. There is a peduncle right there, which is pretty cool because I don't know, I would just be surprised if this bloomed. I guess it would be, I haven't really seen Hoya caryi blooms that much, so I would just be very intrigued to see that if it happened. But yeah, I've just found this to be really kind of picky with its conditions, and it's never really thrived for me. It's always just kind of had like weird burning on the leaves, or like the leaves just come in kind of weird, you know? Yeah, it's just been quite finicky. So especially for this one, if you have any tips, let me know, because I just have no idea. Anyways, I think that that is going to be it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this type of video. I thought it'd be kind of fun and maybe we can learn from each other a little bit, you know? I'm also really curious if anyone has had the same experience as me with any of these plants. That would make me feel better. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Also, feel free to check out my Patreon if you're interested in bonus content. That's always linked down below in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!